Today, I'm here to help you relax and fall asleep with the story you're about to hear. Tonight, we journey into the non-fictional realm to recall one of history's greatest love stories, which is also one of its most tragic. I'll tell you about a revered Egyptian queen and the man who risked everything for her. You've likely heard this story before, how two of the world's most powerful people chose to love each other and eventually died moments apart. Though their tale has been retold countless times, it remains fascinating. Before we begin, let's settle into bed, relax, and clear our minds of the day's busy thoughts. Take a few deep breaths, pause for a moment. If you're feeling overwhelmed, accept that it's normal and allow yourself to rest and enjoy this bedtime story. Tonight, we reflect on Cleopatra and Mark Antony, reminding us that love is both powerful and poisonous. Those seduced by its power rarely wish to break free from its spell. Cleopatra and Mark Antony's story began around 41 BC when Cleopatra, daughter of King Ptolemy XII Auletes, was the supreme ruler of Egypt, the last queen of the Ptolemaic dynasty. Despite her Egyptian reign, Cleopatra was of Macedonian descent and often styled herself after the goddess Isis. We don't have a precise description of her beauty, but coin portraits from that era suggest she had a firm chin, beguiling eyes, a broad forehead, and a well-structured nose. Many wonder, was Cleopatra beautiful? Historian Plutarch wrote that her beauty wasn't incomparable, but her charm was irresistible. Her presence, persuasive discourse, and sweet voice made her captivating. Cleopatra used her voice and multilingual abilities to attract and seduce. Though Egyptian wasn't her mother tongue, she learned it. When her father died in 51 BCE, her brother, about 10 years old, ascended the throne, and Cleopatra, then 18, married him as per Egyptian tradition. Being older, Cleopatra was the dominant ruler. She realized that to sustain her power, she needed Rome's support, so she seduced Caesar, putting on lavish displays and catering to his needs. Their first meeting was famously marked by Cleopatra presenting herself to Caesar wrapped in a rug. After Caesar's assassination, Mark Antony became the leader of Rome's eastern territories. Antony, described as broad-shouldered, bull-necked, and handsome, had served Caesar in Gaul and gained popularity as a tribune. Cleopatra and Antony had met 10 years earlier, but now Cleopatra was a mature queen seeking his support. She knew Rome coveted her riches and that Antony loved spectacles. Cleopatra's grand entrance into Tarsus, described by Stacy Schiff in Cleopatra, a Life, left Antony in awe. Cleopatra's elaborate displays and parties further captivated him, strengthening their bond, which also had a political angle. Cleopatra bore Antony twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene. Their separation for 3 years deepened their love, and upon reunion, they minted coins with their faces. By then, Cleopatra ruled vast lands around the eastern Mediterranean. She often accompanied Antony on military engagements, which some believed distracted him, weakening his prowess. As Plutarch noted, Antony was more eager to return to Cleopatra than to conquer enemies. In 34 BC, after triumphing over Armenia, Antony and Cleopatra celebrated the donations of Alexandria, declaring their lands and flaunting their defiance of Roman tradition. Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, felt threatened, and the Roman Senate declared war on Cleopatra. Egypt lost at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, and Antony and Cleopatra fled to Egypt. Cleopatra, anticipating defeat, prepared her mausoleum filled with treasures. After their defeat, Antony attempted suicide upon hearing a false report of Cleopatra's death. Wounded, he was brought to her, and Cleopatra, heartbroken, tried to make peace with Octavian. Ultimately, she chose to die by poison, possibly a snake. Octavian's soldiers found her dead with her maids. After Cleopatra's death, Egypt became part of the Roman Empire, and her children were raised by Octavian, who honored her last request to be buried with Antony. Cleopatra and Antony's love story, immortalized by Shakespeare, transcends time, echoing the devotion of star-crossed lovers. Cleopatra was just 39 at her death, ruling Egypt for over 2 decades and loving Antony for more than a decade. Their story, filled with passion and power, invites us to imagine the love and devotion they shared. As you drift off to sleep, think of the great love stories and how your own life may unfold with love. Sweet dreams, and I'll be with another fascinating tale. This video was made using Flicky AI. Check the link below and create awesome videos and shorts.